Hi, Donna and Taylor. Before I get into what I've learned in this class, I just wanted to say a big thank you to you two for teaching it. I really appreciate it just from learning everything from special tests to ankle taping. I definitely learned a lot, and I really liked how it was a big hands on course. Um, and also, you guys taking the time outside of athletics to be teaching it to all of us. So, not only myself, but I'm sure everyone else in the class appreciates it. And on another note, I hope you, as well as everyone else in your family, are doing well during these times. Something that I learned a lot during class were knee injuries, and I can relate to this a lot. Over the years of playing soccer, I've dealt with many injuries, and a lot of those injuries were actually knee injuries. In 2017, before I came to college, I partially tore my right meniscus knee. Um, didn't really know much about the injury. Didn't really know the severity of it until I was told that I had to get surgery on it. Luckily, it was a clean out, so it wasn't a repair, so it was a fast recovery. And as of now, I'm dealing with a partial tear in my patella tendon, so I've been spending a few months in active rehab, trying to fix that up. But in the beginning of the fall season, it started off with minor patella tendonitis, and it kind of got worse from there. So I've over the years of playing soccer, I've had my fair share of knee injuries, and learning more and more about knee injuries in class definitely gave me a better understanding um, of how to take care of it, how to rehab it properly. So, yeah, I'm just gonna dive a little bit into that. From experiencing all this, I knew a bit about meniscus injuries and tendonitis. But in class, we dove a little bit into ligament tears such as ACL, PCL, and MCL tears. And we also talked a little bit about the different grade levels for each of them. So grades 1 through 3. Grade 1 sprain is usually due to an overuse injury and is very common in fast-paced running sports such as track, soccer, and basketball. And that includes a ligament being stretched a little bit more than it normally is, and it also has small tears in it. A grade 2 sprain is a much larger tear than a grade 1, but the tear is still incomplete, so the ligament is still attached to it. But a grade 2 sprain can mean so much. There can be a grade 2 ligament sprain that 1% of the ligament's torn, or there can be a grade 2 sprain that 99% of the ligament is torn. And then lastly, a grade 3 sprain is a complete tear of the ligament. I was kind of shocked because I figured before I first learned it that a grade 3 sprain would definitely hurt the most because, well, your whole ligament is completely torn. But actually, a grade 2 is a lot more painful because a lot of the cells and the pain receptors are still attached to the ligament, whereas a grade 3 sprain, all of it's completely destroyed and wiped out. So I thought that was definitely one of the most interesting things that I learned about a knee injury. Any of these injuries can happen instantly, whether it's through quick deceleration or change of direction. A lot of stress on that knee through either one of those can cause a ligament tear, cartilage tear, whatever it is in the knee. And 70% of ACL tears are actually non-contact. And you definitely see it happen a lot more time. It's a lot more common in sports like football, basketball, and soccer. And there are other risk factors for an ACL injury, such as having stronger quads than hamstrings and being a female as well. So, like I said earlier, I knew a little bit about meniscus injuries and the surgical ways to go about it. Um, I got a meniscectomy, which was a 2 month recovery. Whereas if my meniscus injury was major, I would have had to get it repaired, which required them to remove some of the meniscus and then stitch it up, which would have been around a 3 to 6 month recovery. But that was information that I kind of already learned prior to class. But in class, I learned that for an ACL tear, surgical treatment is usually required, but you can actually play with a completely torn meniscus, which I didn't know, but your athletic performance would be greatly reduced. Whereas with a PCL and MCL tear, surgery isn't required, and those two ligaments can actually naturally heal by itself through rest. Um, so learning those different treatment plans for those other ligaments in the knees and not only the meniscus was very cool to learn.
All right, so one of the exercises that I've been doing for my partial tear from my patella tendon is basically all you need is a flat wall like this. You lean against it, your back is completely flat against it, and the more you pull your legs out, the harder it is. You keep your legs completely flat, and all you do is lift your toes and dig your heels into the floor, right? You take it slow at a time, count to 2 at the top, and go back down. Up, down. And you feel a big contraction in your knee, and doing that often will definitely help strengthen that patella tendon. So a lot of the reason why people's knees are weak is due to weak quads. So another exercise that I do is basically it's just a quad extension. So I'll kneel like this. I'll go all the way back down and come right back up. So I'm using the majority of my quads, and doing that will strengthen it, which will strengthen my knee.
And again, I really appreciate you guys teaching the ways of being an athletic trainer. Not only did I learn a lot about the industry, but I learned a lot about myself and how I could apply the information that I learned in class to my sport. So I'll definitely be using all that information for the next season. And again, thank you, Taylor and Donald, and I hope you guys have a great summer.